Hello everybody and welcome back to GrindCraft. Now, we are here for an update video and it's been a little while, so I thought I'd start off up here and get a nice little view of what's been going on. These are the two primary things that we're going to be talking about today. So getting a good view of them right here is not a bad idea. Now, first, before we jump in and see where we're at with the quarries, I did want to thank WKaki 90209020 whatever, because they suggested in a YouTube comment that I install the mod Tweakeroo, and they specifically suggested it because of the Nether fog, and it is indeed really nice to mine in the Nether right now. I just finished mining in the Nether for a little while, and I'm going to show you what happened in there, but it also includes this little thing, free camera, which gives you a nice opportunity to just kind of get a better view of whatever you're working on from a different angle, and I really like this. I know I've seen a lot of YouTubers using this tool before, and I didn't realize that this was part of the Tweakeroo mod. I guess I spaced and I thought it was a different mod, but anyway, I'm glad to have it. So thank you again, WKaki 90209020. Appreciate you. Next up, let's jump right into Quarry Status. So last time we talked, I think, or the last update video rather, we had we were about halfway through sort of a stone quarry progress, and we were at about y equals 57. Now you see we are at y equals 47. So we've made about 10 meters of progress, which translates to about 5 of these 2-layer layers. So I've cleared out this entire thing 5 times roughly. That's what we're looking at, and that is appropriate because if we come on down here, I think the last time we talked I was maybe halfway through one of these, but if I was standing on now I'm not sure what the status of the current layer was, but I know that if I was standing on top of the quarry, I was at y equals -15. And now we're at y equals -25. So again, cleared this entire square 5 times. And we've made, so that means about 10 meters of progress. And -25 is pretty good, I think. That means we've gone about 30 meters down, because the top of this is +5 rather. So we've made about 30 meters of progress in total in this quarry, which means we're just under halfway there. I think if we do 2 more of these layers, we'll be halfway there, which is pretty good, but it's definitely not done, and this stuff takes time, so it's fine. I think in one of the videos I mentioned that in here there was there's a big pond of water that was hampering progress. I managed to fill all that in, so that's done. It did slow down progress mostly on the stone quarry, because I was doing this in between super breaker runs in the main quarry. You can see here some of the not the bedrock, some of the deep slate that I've laid down to fill in some of that water, and I think it I don't know where it starts and stops, but if we come down here, after I had done that, I realized that there was a part of this cave that was going to make my life living hell, because it 1 had lava at the bottom, and 2, there's just a big open sort of half sphere here, hemisphere, demisphere, whatever. So I filled a bunch of this in. This is a really, looking back on this, I think this might have been a mistake, because basically what I've just done is given myself a whole bunch more deep slate to mine out. However, it also means that I don't have to do a whole bunch of special casing where I come in and have to dig around this big part of the cave, and I think this is going to be easier, so I'm glad I did it, but it was kind of weird, and again, it did slow down the stone mining, because it turns out I was doing this in between super breaker runs as well in the main quarry. But nevertheless, we are doing pretty well on both of those quarries, I think. I think the progress is being made there, and I'm happy with it for sure. Come down here again in another video. So if you're just watching the update videos, I don't want you to miss anything in between updates. So I did do a couple videos in between just to keep pushing out some content for you guys, because I gotta say, and I'll do a heart-to-heart moment to camera here. I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying this. This has been a lot of fun for me to just kind of get back into YouTube and do some work on GrindCraft, because it's, I don't know, I definitely go through phases where I'm not super motivated to work on this world, but I've been really motivated lately, and I think y'all are a significant part of that, so I appreciate it. Anyways, one of the things I did between videos that I mentioned in one of those in-between videos was to add more chests to this sorter input, and also it's just organized nicer now. So I now have 35, I think I said 35. Math. Actually, maybe it's 40. I might have 40 chests here. Anyways, it's a lot of chests. I can fill up all of these and leave it overnight and have it just empty in. Now, this leaves open the question as to whether I can actually support having 40, well, actually 80 shulker boxes worth of items go through this, but I think, yeah, I think I can. So it's probably okay, and I think even if all 40 of those chests were filled up, or all 80 of those single chests were filled up rather, I think it would have a hard time filling up the entirety of the sorter output. Obviously, if I left it completely, you know, if I left this chest completely full, for example, then we'd have maybe a little bit of a problem. But even then, we have 54 slots in that chest and 27 slots in that barrel. So in theory, that's enough. That's 81 slots. Like, in theory, we could swing that. So I'm not super worried about the sorter. The sorter should be pretty robust, at least for the time being. And I think I talked about in another video, I also want to add some of the nether items to this. So right now I'm missing, actually one of the overworld items I want to add is sand. So sand is probably the next module. But then I want to add netherrack, deep basalt, and blackstone, because those are all also things that I would like to have in this sorter. And if we come up here, I'm pretty sure I've shown this to you all before, but I'm just going to do it again for effect. This is my temporary storage of nether quarry outputs. There's a lot in here, okay? There's a lot of nether stuff lying around in here, but most of it is netherrack, blackstone, and basalt. Primarily basalt. So it'd be good to get that in the sorter and sort some of these shulker boxes out, because I'm sick of those. I'm sick of those staring me in the face. And it would be nice to be able to like come and dump nether quarry outputs into that sorter and not have to manually, you know, have to sort through them, because that's definitely something that I've had to do in the past, and I don't want to have to do that in the future. Now, I want to come down here and talk about a topic that I've kind of waffled on about for a while now, and obviously you all know what it is, because we're at the Bedrock. We're going to be talking about breaking Bedrock, and I want to thank, oh shoot, I didn't look up whose comment this was, but somebody did recommend that I look up 3-way Bedrock breaker machines, and it seems like they're pretty cool. I mean, they definitely work. They break one bedrock like per second, I think, is roughly the sort of the metrics that I was seeing on some of the videos, and like that's really cool and all. However, I downloaded Lightmatica, I installed it on my world, I tried to build one of these in creative mode, and even in creative mode it was a pain. Like, I did not enjoy that. I don't know. I think if I understood it better, maybe, and I was like building it sort of in the way that it's meant to be built, maybe I would enjoy it a little bit more, but I really don't understand how it works, and I was just like placing one block after another, and it was really finicky and really annoying, and I didn't want to have to do that in survival. So I don't think that that's what I'm going to do. I think instead, per the comments on one of the prior updates, I'm going to use the fill command. And there are a number of reasons for this. One is I don't want to do that bedrock breaking machine. That's a pain. Two is I don't want to manually break all of this bedrock. As much as I've demonstrated that I'm able to, I don't feel the need to personally break every piece of bedrock in this area. Like, it's just not going to work. Three, am I on three? Whatever. The next item, the next reason, is that it frees up a lot of space that otherwise I wouldn't be able to use. So for example, if I were using the old TNT method or even this new flying machine method of breaking bedrock, the border chunks, so if you see over here, some of this chunk is already cleared out, but I can't go much further than that, because if you get, I think if you get within like 10 blocks, maybe it's 8 blocks, I don't know, but it's not entire chunk, but it's some of chunk, has to be just not used, because if I put TNT over here, let's say, that deep slate's going to blow up, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to start breaking that part of the quarry before I get to it. So with the fill command, if I learn to get it right, I'm going to be able to just use a command and fill in all of this bedrock with air, and then, you know, from all the way over here, this corner, to all the way over there, that corner of the quarry, it's all going to be flat bedrock, and I can just move on with my life. And I don't have to worry about like leaving chunks empty and unused until I break enough bedrock or do enough deep slate quarrying to actually break the bedrock. Like, I don't have to wait, and that is, I think, potentially very good. However, there are some things that I decided, and I just want to go over a few of them with you. First of all, well, the first principle is I'm going to use the fill command. We already went through that. The second principle is where it's just bedrock, like in these chunks, I'm going to replace all the bedrock with air. And that's potentially, I don't know, that's maybe the most controversial part of this. I think that it's possibly better for me to replace it all with deep slate at this point, because then at least there's a little bit of challenge for me to, like, you know, start from the center and like clear out all this deep slate. But I don't think it's that much of a challenge, and I don't think it's worth it. I think that I have demonstrated that I can clear out large amounts of deep slate, and I've demonstrated that I can clear out bedrock. Like, I don't need an extra challenge right now. I can replace all this with air and not have any not feel guilty about it. Not feel guilty about the time that I would have to spend otherwise to like clear out this deep slate. However, where it's not already cleared out like this, where there's like still stuff in between the bedrock, I'm going to replace the bedrock with deep slate. So like over here in this chunk, or in this 5x5 chunk area in this quarry, if I were to use the fill command to replace the bedrock here, I would do so by replacing it with deep slate. So that means that apart from that bottom bedrock floor, all of the bedrock in those 25 chunks would become deep slate. And that means that, as you know, in an in-progress quarry, then I still have that extra challenge of having to dig out the deep slate, but I don't have to do it in this weird way where I've already done these chunks. I'm not going to come back to them, right? But these chunks, I'm still working on. So it's not really a big deal for me to go and do more work. Obviously, that's only in the overworld. In the Nether, which is going to become relevant in a second, we'll go in and talk about the Nether in a minute. We'll change it. We'll replace it with either basalt or netherrack. I'm kind of two minds on that. I guess it might just depend on the area we're in. But I mean, we're getting mostly basalt anyway, so maybe I should just do netherrack and not have a whole bunch of complicated rules. Anyways, next item is I'm going to do all of the bedrock replacing on camera, and I'm only going to do it when needed. So I did talk in an earlier video about potentially doing this when 1.21 comes out, because then we'll have an autocrafter, and that's when I'll want to start doing some of my final sort of storage, processing, factory stuff in this world, and that's when I'm going to want to start putting my storage down at bedrock. So right now, there's not really much point in me clearing out all this bedrock. Like, yes, I'd have a whole bunch of space, but I wouldn't be able to do anything with it because my final storage is nowhere near ready to be built yet, because we need those autocrafters. Once I have autocrafters, once I have, you know, all that stuff figured out, then we can talk about clearing out this bedrock and making space for that autocrafter. However, I'm going to make an exception here, and I hadn't put this in my notes, but I'm going to make sure that I make an exception here. This active quarry, I'm going to replace all of that with deep slate. I'm going to replace all the bedrock with deep slate in this active quarry. I think that there's not much point in me doing, you know, clearing all this out and then getting to the bottom and having to, you know, run around in the bedrock like this, like I've done a million times because I'm sick of it, honestly. I think it's better for me to just do that now and then not have to worry about it. And then do that in the nether as well, because there's an active quarry there that I'm having to do all this bedrock, you know, running around bedrock and clearing out one block at a time. It's annoying, fiddly work, and I don't want to have to do it anymore. So that's the exception to that. I'm going to do those two things immediately on the active quarries. The last stipulation is that the nether roof will not be removed with the fill command. So if we come into the nether, I do want to show you the nether anyways. So if we come up to the top, there is one hole in the nether roof right now, at least in the area around my base. So there is space for me to come up onto the roof of the nether. And I could remove like little holes in the nether roof all I wanted. Like, there's plenty of space on the nether roof. I could punch holes in it wherever. I don't have a problem with that, but I have to do it manually. I'm not going to come up here and fill the entire nether roof with air because it's bedrock. Like, the point of the bedrock removal is specific. It's not just meant to be this general thing where I just remove all bedrock in the world. The nether roof has a purpose. It exists. I haven't really dealt with it in any way, and I don't think I see any need to deal with it. So I'm not gonna replace the nether roof bedrock with air with the fill command, or for that matter with anything else. So the nether roof stays the way it is the current policy. Just making sure I grab that torch that I lost. But we had to come into the nether anyways, because over here you can see, well, maybe you can't see, maybe it's not immediately obvious, but there are now 3 chunks cleared out here in the nether. I think the last update we talked about, I had almost done 2 chunks on this this new nether quarry. Now today I have completed this 3rd chunk. If you check out the GrindCraft playlist or my uploads, you'll see the last video that I uploaded before this one is actually the beginning of me digging out this chunk, and just today I found some time and decided to finish out this chunk. So we have some progress there. It's not exactly gangbusters progress, but I've been having a lot of fun quarrying in the overworld, so this has not been a priority for me. That being said, I do want to make some time to come out here and do some work in the nether from time to time. It's not my priority. So yeah, that's that situation. And I think in the last update, maybe in the last update? No, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure in the last update I talked about storing items in the end in barrels as opposed to in shulker boxes in the overworld. And I have to say that that has continued. I have increased the amount of deepslate and stone that is stored in the end. Sorry, not in the nether, in the end. I have not added any other types of items to that storage scheme yet. I might do so in the future, but I have not yet. I will keep you posted about that, but I don't think that there's any reason for us to go out there. It doesn't look very interesting. It's just there's more barrels there now. Oh, hungry. Let's just munch on something quick. So just looking at my list here, making sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, I think we've covered all of the updates to the worlds. I do want to come over here. I guess this is one of my traditional sort of end part of the video places, but anyways, I do want to say that I've been really enjoying my time on GrindCraft lately, and I want to thank you all for motivating me to do that, for helping me to do that. I think I talked a little bit about that in the beginning of the video, but I've just been having a great time with this world lately, and I've been really enjoying, seeing people like the videos and comment with suggestions and all that stuff. So I want to say I really appreciate that. And I guess to just explicitly note what I've been kind of internally doing on my own. I'm shooting for a video every 3 days roughly, and I'm shooting for videos to be roughly 20 to 25 minutes. And I am also trying to make sure that I record ahead, just so, if I run up against the day of a video supposed to be releasing and I don't have a video, then it's not necessarily a big deal because I already recorded a video a couple days back, So I'm recording this video a couple days ahead of when it will be released. But yeah, I think that that's a relatively good policy. Let me know if there's anything, you know, if the videos are too frequent for you, or if you would prefer even more frequent videos. I can do my best. I'm not going to make any promises there, but I think that I've found that recording every 3 days or so is not too much of an imposition for me, and I'm also trying not to record too far into the future, just so if you guys have comments and suggestions that I want to try, I can take a look at them. And for example, there was a comment yesterday or earlier today about potentially using a mob switch to remove some of the danger of working in the Nether, and that's certainly an option. I'm going to take a look into some of the mechanics of how that might work and see if it's possible, but I haven't done that yet. And then the other thing is, I would actually really love it if you guys would let me know what kinds of videos you enjoy. So for example, we've got these update videos. I'm always going to be doing these just to make sure that there's always a touch point of like, I've made this amount of progress in the past 2 weeks or whatever. But if you, I mean, some of you probably have seen the mining video that I did in the deepslate quarry. Some of you have seen the mining video I did in the Nether. I've talked about doing fishing videos. I've talked about doing woodcutting videos. Even like storage organization management videos. The only thing I think is not a good idea is for me to try to do redstone on camera, because I've done it before and it doesn't work. As any Minecrafter will tell you, if you try to do redstone on camera, it doesn't work very well. So skip that. But what other kinds of videos do you think you'd like to see from this world? Because like most of the activity that I'm doing is just mining. So left to my own devices, you're going to see a lot of just I mined for 2 days sort of videos, because that's what I'm doing all the time. But let me know if you have different ideas, if you think that these updates could happen more frequently with like less progress. I'm happy to do that. Obviously, I'd have to stretch it out quite a bit, because you know, it takes me about 20 minutes to talk about doing this amount of stuff in whatever it's been, a week and a half or so. It would probably take me less than that to talk about less time passing, but we can do our best. Anyways, yeah, let me know. The other thing I was thinking about is maybe doing a mining video, but not really engaging with the mining itself necessarily, because like I've already shown you how the mining system works. Maybe I just spend that time talking about something else. You know, topics might include stuff going on in my life, stuff going on in the world, though admittedly my connection with the news has not been great lately. Stuff going on in the Minecraft world. I mean, certainly we've got updates coming out soon, and it might be interesting to talk about that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, you know, what you think of all of that, any of that, and I'll think about how I can fit some of your preferences into my videos, because I could use the guidance. Honestly, I'm not necessarily sure what I want to be doing with this world and content right now, because it doesn't always feel natural to make videos in this world. So I think that's about it. Real quick, hey, if you like the video, like the video. If you have suggestions, put it in the comments section. And if you want to see more videos like this from me and from this world, you should subscribe. That's how you do that. I'm not going to ask you to share with your friends. I said that in the last video, and I'm not sure that I've ever shared a video with my friends, but that's about it from me. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.